Okay, sige. Check lang ako attendance ha. Miss Amul.
Present po.
Wait lang. Miss Arago. Miss Asim. Miss Cabrera.
Present po.
Miss Cantor.
Present po.
Miss Sena.
Present po.
Miss Fernandez. Mr. Garcia.
Present po.
Miss Lonto.
Present po.
Miss Perez.
Present po.
Miss Richa.
Present po.
Miss Ugay.
Present po.
Miss Vivero. Okay. Sige. We'll discuss activity-based costing and joint and byproduct costing. Kung kaya ko i-discuss yung dalawa, tatapusin ko yung discussion this morning. Kasi next week, I won't meet you. Wala ako sa weekend eh. I'll be out of the country. Tapos babalik ako. Pagbalik ko next week, makakamit na tayo ng 29. So, practice problems tayo for the discussions sa face-to-face discussions. Tapos, December 6, finals na. So, medyo mabilis. So, kailangan ko tapusin yung lecture ngayon. I-send ko rin yung lecture with sample problems and solutions sa inyo para you can practice next week. And then, habang wala ako. And then, more practice problems tayo kapag balik ko. Okay, sige. Well, I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay. So, yung activity-based costing, actually, nung go over ko nga siya kanina, hindi ko alam kung bakit ganito bakit nasa bandang dulo siya ng discussion sa book ni Cabrera. Teka lang ha, wait lang.
Sa sarap ng cheese at crunch. Sasarap.
Okay. So, as I was saying, nasa padulong part ng discussion sa book yung activity-based costing. Pero, more on cost allocation din siya eh. Based on activity nga lang. Um, so, yung activity-based costing, it relates to an activity-based management system. So, yung manner on how you consume your resources is actually linked to certain types of activities done within the company or within the business. So, sometimes, yung cost ng activities, or most of the time, yung cost of activities are actually linked to products or yung clients or customers. This is actually used internally by the management in order to be able to determine and evaluate more accurate costing of products para mas maging competitive yung products and mas makagawa sila ng informed decision on how this their products, how their products will be yung costing of their products, how this will be sold, and on how they will actually be able to generate more revenues. Okay, so yung activity-based costing just means na yung manner on how you determine the cost of the products is actually linked to the specific activities within the company. So, hindi siya directly i-connect sa ilan yung mapoproduce natin na products within this period. So, more than the quantity of the products or how much is the order or demand of the customers, ang costing mo ay nakalink sa mismong activity within the company. Okay? So, most organizations daw use two costing system. Yung official costing for external reporting, which is your financial accounting purposes, and activity-based costing for internal decision making. Meaning kapag internal lang sa company, yung pag-determine ng cost and for purposes of internal reporting. Pag sinabi na internal, walang persons or authorities outside the company yung titingin ng report. Meaning management lang, supervisors lang, managers lang, executives lang ng company. But when we say external reporting, yan yung gumagawa ka na ng financial statements kasi titingnan yan ng shareholders, ng public, ng tax authorities, ng BIR, ng Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. So, may ibang titingin ng report. So, kaya siya tinatawag na external kasi even those outside the organization will look into your report. So, mostly, yung ABC or activity-based costing, ginagamit siya for internal decision making. Kung kayo-kayo lang within the company yung titingin ng reports. Okay, questions? Sige, no questions. Magtanong kayo ha, kasi 2 weeks nyo na lang ako mamimit this week and November 29. And then finals na. Okay. So, yung activity centers, these are certain areas of the production process for which yung management natin usually wants a separate reporting for the cost of the activity because yung certain activity center na yon or department ay either very significant to the production process or nag-incur siya ng significant amount of cost in the production process. Parang ganyan. Okay? So, yung levels of activities usually ay on a per unit level, batch level, product level, or facility level. Depending on what is being used as the activity base. Who determines activity base? Management din. No? Internal decision din ng management. Okay. So, any questions before the problem? Illustrative problem. Walang questions. Okay, sige. So, si company daw, si ABC Company, manufactures so dalawang product ang minamanufacture niya, no? Product A and product B. So, ang minamanufacture niya na product A ay 4,000 units and yung product B ay 20,000 units. Okay. So, the company currently uses direct labor hours to assign overhead costs to products. Ay, product A pala to. Wait lang ha. Product A. May product X dito. Okay. So, si company daw currently uses direct labor hours to assign overhead costs to products. Product A requires 2.5 direct labor hours and product B requires 2.0 direct labor hours to produce. If you recall from our previous discussion, when we determine or set a predetermined overhead rate, bumipili tayo ng certain activity base. Isang activity base lang to determine an overhead rate. No? So dito, ang activity base na ginamit is direct labor hours. No? Both for product A and product B. So 2.5 direct labor hours daw ang kailangan para kay product A and 2 hours yung kailangan kay product B. Ngayon, when it looks into a plant-wide overhead allocation rate, ang unit product cost ay naka-breakdown sa screen nyo. No? So, ibig sabihin, sa buong planta, ang total na product cost ay nade-determine based on the unit product, unit cost per direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead na nandiyan dyan sa inyong mga screens. So for product A, ang direct material niya is 36, ang direct labor is 17.5, and yung manufacturing overhead niya ay 45. So saan nanggaling yung 45? So sabi, 2.5 hours daw times 18. So 2.5 hours yung kailangan. 18 pesos yung cost per hour. So yung total na manufacturing overhead ni product A ay 45. Questions so far? Questions or hindi naintindihan? Kung hindi naintindihan, sad react, or okay naman? Okay. Okay ha. Last chance nyo na to ha. Hindi kayo nagtatanong. So ang assumption, yes, yung 18 ay galing sa 17.5. No, yung 18 ay nakaset na cost per direct labor hour. So given siya. Kasi yung sinabi lang sa atin dito sa paragraph na to is ilang hours, ilang direct labor hours yung kailangan kay product A. Pero hindi kasi sinabi kung magkano yung yes, na-mention ko na kanina na isa-send ko to after ng discussion kasi para dahil nga wala ako next week, para ma-review nyo siya. Okay? Pero dahil hindi tayo din mag-meet ngayon, wala tayong choice kung hindi i-discuss to kahit online lang. Okay? Again, yung 18 ay given yon kasi dito sa paragraph na to, ang sinabi lang is number of direct labor hours. So 2.5 direct labor hours for product A. Pero hindi sinabi kung magkano per hour. So yung 18 dito per hour is given yan. Okay, given din yan. So yung 45 kay product A ay 2.5 multiplied by 18. Okay. Yung direct materials and direct labor na nasa table ay given. Yes, given din yan. No? Okay, given yan. Mamaya, pag nakita nyo yung succeeding portions, yung mga naka-blue, yan yung mga kailangan i-determine or i-compute. So, dito, yung mga lahat yan given. Yung 45, i-compute nyo, but based on the given din, 2.5 multiplied by 18. And then sa product B, sabi 2 hours daw yung kailangan kay product B. So 2 multiplied by 18 is 36. So yung total unit product cost kay product A and product B ay binigay sa inyo. Okay, 36 plus 17.5 plus 45 equals 98.5. And kay product B, 30 plus 14 plus 36 equals 80. Okay. Questions so far? Wala. Okay. Okay. Next. Pero si management ay naniniwala na yung overhead cost ay actually cost or driven by the following activities. Okay. Ulit. Kanina, and even in the previous discussions natin, yung overhead natin ay usually dinedetermine natin or ine-estimate natin based on a certain activity and based on a rate per activity. So, dito, ang overhead cost ang natin ay based daw sa direct labor hours. So, kapag ka dinedetermine mo yung unit cost per product, after knowing how much is your unit cost for direct materials, then direct labor, yung determination ng unit cost mo for manufacturing overhead or yung overhead cost natin ay naka-based sa direct labor hours. Kasi sabi sa problem, yun daw yung ginagamit to assign overhead cost. Yung direct labor hours. Okay? Yan din yung naging basis ng previous discussions natin on predetermined overhead rate. Clear so far? Okay. Ngayon, sabi ni management, parang may mas accurate way of determining our overhead cost. Kasi kung tutuusin, ano ba ang nagdadrive sa pag-incur natin ng overhead cost doon sa factory? Hindi naman yung direct labor hours talaga to be honest. So sabi ng management, nung mag-re-evaluate kami, parang ito yung nagko-cost ng pag-increase ng cost natin for overhead. Yung ilang machine setup, meaning ilang beses mo sineset up yung machine dun sa factory or warehouse mo. Tapos kung kailangan na i-inspect siya for okay ba yung quality, hindi ba yan magda-down anytime? Ilang orders ba yung, or parang command to do production yung ginagawa natin? And then, dahil heavily using machine tayo, machine hours work yata. At saka, kung ilang beses natin kailangang i-set up or i-prepare yung materials for processing. So, as compared dito sa previous table, and even in our previous discussion, di ba? Before, parang okay, mag-determine ka lang na baka based on direct materials or direct labor, or baka yun yung basis ng overhead cost. Simple lang, isang basis lang. Pero, to be honest, kung magdi-deep dive at mag-check in detail yung management, sabi nila, dapat tingnan mo kung anong nangyayari doon sa warehouse. Ano ba talaga ang nagda-drive nung cost nung overhead natin? Talaga bang direct labor hours or may mas relevant activity na nakakaapekto dun sa overhead cost natin? And pagtingin nila, ay, eto nga yun. No? Ilang beses mo sineset up yung machine? Ilang beses ka nagka-quality inspections? Ilan yung production orders? Ilang machine hours yung nagagamit? And ilang beses ka nagsiset up ng materials? So, yun yung difference. Before, ang ginagamit na basis to allocate the overhead cost is just a single activity or single basis, whether it be direct materials, direct labor hours, machine hours, no? Isahan lang. Pero ngayon, sabi ni management, tingnan nga natin yung bigger picture dun sa warehouse or dun sa facility. Ano ba talaga yung specific activities na nagda-drive ng cost doon? Okay. Question so far dun sa you first have to understand and appreciate how it differs from simply determining an overhead rate. Okay. So question so far. Okay, walang questions. Hindi kayo nalilito. Nalilito ba kayo? Hindi naman. Wala, hindi kayo nalilito. Oh. Okay. So, okay naman ha. Again, last ano na to ha, last leg na nung SEM. So, I can only be considerate and I cannot do miracles. No? Okay. In terms of your grades. Okay, next, no? So, after we have understood that the management believes na may iba pang nagda-drive ng cost ng overhead natin, which is yung machine setup, quality inspections, production orders, machine hours, and material setups. Binigyan din tayo ng data na to. No? So, kung alam mo na yan yung activity tapos ito yung cost ng activities na yan, dapat alam mo din kung ilang machine setups ba yon. Okay? So sabi, yung itong previous slide, no? Binibigay sa atin yung activity tsaka how much, meaning yung cost niya. So it means if for machine setups, yung total cost ng lahat ng machine setups mo ay 255,000 pesos. Quality inspections, 160,000 pesos. Production orders, 81,000 pesos. Machine hours work is 314,000 pesos. And material setups ay 90,000 pesos. Okay? So, binigyan tayo ng activity and total cost of those activities. Pero, sa next na slide, ang binigay naman sa atin is ilan. Meaning, ilang machine setups, ilang quality inspections, ilang production orders, ilang machine hours worked, and ilang material setups. Okay? So, in total, sa total column, nandun yung total na machine setups, quality inspections, and so forth. So, 5,000, 8,000, 600, 40,000, and 750. Pero, alam natin na merong dalawang products, no? Si product A at saka si product B. So, yung 5,000 na total machine setups, 3,000 doon kay product A, 2,000 kay product B. Yung quality inspections naman, 8,000 in total, di ba? So, 5,000 kay product A, 3,000 kay product B. Production orders, ganun din, no? So, 600, 200 doon kay product A, 400 kay product B. Machine hours worked, 40,000. 12,000 hours doon kay product A, 28,000 machine hours doon ay product B. Material setups, 750 in total, 150 of which is for product A and the remaining 600 is for product B. Questions on this slide? Okay, next, no? Yan. So, based on the foregoing data, pwede natin yun gamitin to develop or compute the overhead rates for each of the 5 activities. Okay, so in this slide again, binigay sa atin yung total cost, no? In this slide, binigay sa atin yung total number of activities or transactions per activity. So kung gagamitin natin yon to divide the total cost, we will be able to get the ABC rate or rate per unit for each activity. So, for example, si machine setup, 255,000 pesos siya in total. At ang total machine setup natin for the period ay 5,000. So, per machine setup, 51 pesos. Kasi that is 255,000 divided by 5,000. So, 51. Okay? Ganon din for the subsequent activities or the succeeding activities. So, 160,000 pesos for quality inspection and meron tayong 8,000 inspection. So, per inspection, 20 pesos. 81,000 pesos for production orders and we have 600 production orders. So, per production order, 135 pesos. Machine hours work, 314,000 pesos at meron tayong 40,000 machine hours work. Per machine hour is 7.85 pesos. Material setup, 90,000 pesos divided by 750 material setup. So per setup is 120. Okay, questions on this line? Ang dinetermine natin dito is how much is the rate per activity. Okay? Per machine setup, per quality inspection. Okay? Next. So, now, siguro malalaman nyo na at mafo-foresee nyo na yung next natin na gagawin. Because we already know how much is your ABC rate per unit, per activity, we will allocate the overhead cost for product A. Okay? So, we know na yung ABC rate, diba? Or yung rate per unit. So, yan din yon. And then, yung transactions or activities, dito nyo siya kukunin. Because, hindi naman pwedeng sa 5,000 mo siya i-apply. Kasi, sa total yun eh. Yung sa product A, ito lang namang portion na yan eh. Diba? Itong portion lang na yan, yung sa product A. So, kukunin niya lang yung for product A, multiply nyo doon sa per unit niya. So, ito yung activities per product A multiplied by the per unit or per activity rate. Per activity pala ito. Sige, para hindi kayo malito. Natin na per activity. Okay. So, for machine setup, we know that per machine setup, 51 pesos. 3,000 machine setups. 3,000 machine setups for product A. So, yung total niyan, 51 multiplied by 3,000 is 153,000. Quality inspections, 20 per quality inspection, 5,000 quality inspections for product A. So, 100,000. And then, yung production orders, 135 per order multiplied by 200 orders for product A. That's 27,000. Machine hours work is 7.85 multiplied by 12,000.
Kailangan lagyan ng battery
So that is 94,200. And then yung 120 per material setup multiplied by 150 material setups equals 18,000 pesos. So, after getting how much yung total per activity, we can get yung total overhead assigned or total overhead cost for product A, which is 392,200. Saan galing yung 392,200? I-add lang natin tong 153,000, 100,000, 27,000, 94,200, and 18,000. Okay, 153 plus 100 plus 27 is 94.2 plus 18 equals 392,200. Okay. Question so far? Wala. Okay. Yung number of units produced daw kay product A ay ilan? 4,000. So, divided by 4,000, magkano yung overhead cost per unit natin? 98.05. So 392,200 divided by 4,000 is 98.05. Overhead cost lang yan ha. Overhead cost per unit based on activity-based costing. Okay, question so far? Wala.
So, nakuha siya overhead cost.
Pag balikan natin kung magkano yung overhead cost dito, no? Magkano yung overhead cost kay product A nung ang ginagamit niya lang na allocation basis is sa direct labor hours?
45.
Miss Cantor.
Scantor.
Magkano daw, based dito sa table, magkano yung overhead rate or cost kay product A?
Ano po, ma'am?
Magkano yung overhead? Sorry?
45 po.
Okay, 45. So, dito, 45 yung overhead using an allocation basis na saan naka-base to, Miss Cantor? Saan naka-base?
Direct labor hours po.
Okay, direct labor hours. So, ang overhead cost, if ang basis ng overhead ay direct labor hours ay 45. Pero nung mag-recompute tayo for activity-based costing, how much is your overhead cost now, Miss Cantor? Magkano yung overhead cost per unit mo?
98.05 po.
Okay, 98.05. So, saan mas mataas? Yung kanina na based on direct labor hours lang or activity-based costing for product?
Yung ngayon po.
Yung activity-based costing. Okay. So, you see, there is difference between parang simply assigning overhead cost on a single activity versus doon sa check ka talaga nung nagda-drive nung cost per activity mo. Nagda-drive nung cost ng overhead mo per activity. Which is better, ma'am? Depende on how the management looks at it because it is coming from a different perspective. If you want a simplified way of looking at it, the single base allocation ka lang. Pero kung gusto mo na mas detailed, activity-based, which is lower in cost, depende rin. Kasi it doesn't mean na kapag nag-activity-based costing ka, laging mas malaki. Sa product A, mas malaki. But we don't know. Baka sa ibang products, mas maliit na. Okay? The only parang takeaway na gusto kong malaman nyo why I compared is just for you to know that there is difference. It doesn't always mean one will always be lower. Sometimes yung activity base will be higher, sometimes it may be lower. But yun nga, may difference sila kasi nga ibang basis na yung ginagamit mo to allocate overhead cost. Okay, questions? Okay. Sige. Sa product B naman tayo. Para lang makita nyo no, yung difference kay product A at product B. So kay product B, ganun ulit, no? Ay, balitan ko lang kay product B yung ano. Whatever we did sa product A, ganun din yung gagawin kay product B. Okay? So, yung rate per activity, i-multiply lang by transaction or activities. Again, no, kukunin nyo yung activities for product B. Hindi kayo sa total ha pag mag-allocate na. Kasi kay product B na lang tayo. So, kuhanin lang yung activities for product B and then multiply. No? After we multiply, makukuha natin yung total overhead na 507,800. So, again, multiply lang si 51 kay 2,000, 20 kay 3,000, 135 kay 400, 785 kay 28,000, si 120 kay 600. Makukuha natin yung figures in this portion of the table. And then we add 102,000, 60,000, 54,000, 219,800, and 72,000 to get 507,800. Okay, question so far? Okay, then sabi natin kanina, merong 20,000 units of product B, no? So, if we divide the total cost of overhead for product B by the units produced for product B, makukuha natin yung overhead cost per unit na 25.39 per
Product B.
unit. No? Overhead cost lang yan ha, overhead cost. So yung direct materials and direct labor for purposes of our discussions remains the same. Okay? Now, pag i-compare natin kanina, how much is yung overhead cost for product B? Mr. Garcia.
36 po.
36. So, anong basis natin dun sa 36?
Direct labor hours po.
Okay, direct labor hours. But, nung mag-allocate tayo using activity-based costing, how much is your overhead cost per unit?
25.39 po.
Okay, saan mas malaki?
Doon po
Sa
sa activity-based costing po. Ay, di po pala. Doon po sa una. Sorry po.
Okay, dun sa direct labor hours, okay? Kanina, yung product A, alin mas malaki, Mr. Garcia? Yung sa activity-based or yung based on the direct labor hours lang?
Sa activity-based po.
Okay, so you see, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na it doesn't always mean na magiging mas mataas yung activity-based costing. Pwedeng mas mababa siya, no? The only thing is that usually may difference yan kasi iba na yung manner ng pag-allocate mo ng cost. Mas detailed for activity-based costing because it looks into specific activities that drives your overhead cost. But it doesn't mean that even if mas detailed siya, mas malaki siya. As shown in product B, mas maliit siya kaysa pag direct labor R. So, parang it pays to be more detailed in this case kasi mas bababa yung cost. But for product A, hindi ka na masyado napagod kasi based on direct labor hours ka lang nag-allocate, mas mababa pa yung costing mo. If you will ask me which is more accurate, depende nga. It would seem like mas accurate yung activity-based costing kasi mas madami ka ng tinitingnan na activities and mas detailed siya. But since internal reporting purposes lang to and management lang ang gagamit nito, it is really up to the discretion or judgment or decision ng management kung ano yung gagamitin niya. But for purposes of our discussion, we look into it so that you would know what options are available to management in their decision making. Okay, questions so far? Wala. Okay, so yun yung activity-based costing. No? Just a last note for theory purposes, no, opportunity cost, no, because I mentioned na binibigyan lang si management ng options on what to use, whether simplified lang na activity-based, simplified lang na determination of overhead rate based on a certain activity or activity-based costing pa. No? So, options are available, and whenever we have options, yung option na hindi natin pinili, na-forgo na natin yung whatever benefit, no? Whether it be on the basis of mas konting pagod ka na lang pero hindi naman accurate, or mas more pagod pero mas accurate yung isa, or mas nagsiserve ng purpose doon sa management for whatever forward-looking decision-making goals yung gusto niya. Basta ang bottom line, yung hindi mo pinili, pinapakawalan mo na yon, whatever benefit. So, ang tawag doon sa benefit ng foregone option mo is opportunity cost. So, yun yung benefit lost when one chosen option precludes, chosen option precludes the benefits from an alternative option. Okay? Whatever is, kunyari, no, may dalawa kayong suitors. So, yung isa hindi masyadong pleasing sa mata, no? Medyo masakit sa mata tingnan. Pero, very generous, mayaman siya, no? Yung isa naman, pogi siya, no? Eye candy. So, pleasing siya tingnan. Pero, hindi siya masyadong mapagbigay. No? Hindi ko alam kung wala siyang pera o ayaw niya lang talagang magbigay. So, if you are given the two options, sino yung pipiliin nyo? Yung hindi masyadong maganda tingnan, no? Pero generous naman. So, siguro, wag mo na lang tingnan. Or yung mayaman daw. Yung isa naman, parang eye candy, pero wala, lagi kang gutom. So, titigan mo na lang siya kasi di ka naman mapakain. So, ano ang opportunity cost mo kapag pinili mo yung mayaman? So, kapag pinili mo yung mayaman, yung benefit lost mo is that yung pogi kasi yung isa. Hindi mo kino-consider na opportunity cost or benefit lost yung pagiging hindi niya mayaman or walang pera niya. Kasi hindi naman yun benefit for you. Ang benefit na nakikita mo, for example, is yung pagiging good looking niya. So, yun yung benefit lost. For example, naman, yung ikaw ay willing magutom basta pogi yung nakikita mo every morning kahit di ka makapag-almusal. So, ang ifo-forgo mo ngayon is yung hindi naman kaganda ang itsura pero kaya ka papakainin kasi yun nga, very able siya. What is your benefit lost? No? Hindi mo naman benefit lost yung hindi niya kaganda ang itsura kasi to you, hindi yun benefit. So, ang benefit lost mo is your ability to be able to eat on time and mabusog palagi kasi nga, able yung isa. Yung pinili mo, yung okay ka, titigan ko na lang to, pwede na siguro kahit di ako kumain. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng opportunity cost, no? Whatever is your benefit lost, yung benefit lang na nawala for choosing an alternative option. Because, hindi mo naman panghihinayangan yung hindi mo nakitang benefit dun sa hindi mo pinili. So, yun yung parang cost na nawawala. Yung opportunity na nawawala sa'yo, and it becomes a cost because the alternative that you did not choose actually has also benefits. So, kunyari, gusto mo na lang mag-activity-based costing. So, yung benefit lost mo is mas madali sana yung buhay mo kung isang activity-based lang yung ginagamit mo to allocate overhead. No? Yun yung example. Okay, questions? Sige. I'll send the link to the next, para sa next hour, and then we discuss joint and byproduct costing. Okay? Sige, I'll end this call na. Ano, okay na ba? Share na ko ng screen. Although 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pa lang kayo. Sige, game na. Nagutom na kasi ako eh. Okay. So yung joint, yung costing for joint and byproducts, just means na how, parang it just shows us how do we allocate cost to those products na nasabay lang na na-produce or naging byproduct lang ng certain production process. No? So, parang dito yung process is wala kang choice or hindi mo maiiwasan na makapag-produce ng something else pag produce mo tong certain product na to. For example, yung mga food and agricultural processes, yan yung usually may joint and byproducts. So, kunyari magkatay ka ng baboy. No? Pag nagkatay ka ng baboy, hindi mo naman, kunyari ako, gusto ko lang ng paksiw na pata ng baboy. O kaya, crispy pata. Hindi ko naman pwedeng sabihin na pwedeng putulan lang ng paa yung baboy kasi pata lang naman yung gusto ko eh. So, parang lumpuhin mo yung baboy para makain ko yung pata niya. Hindi pwede yun kasi wala kang choice kung hindi maghintay katayin yung baboy, yung entire baboy, tapos kuhanin mo yung pata. Or yung mga gusto lang ng dinuguan, hindi mo naman pwedeng i-drain lang yung dugo ng baboy tapos sige salinan ko na lang ng dugo yan para mabuhay pa rin. Wala tayong choice kung hindi yung buong baboy mamatay siya. And kapag pinatay mo yung baboy, marami kang products na makukuha doon. Pata, ulo, dugo, atay, laman, buto. So, lahat ng products na yun, parang yun, magre-result siya from a joint process. Okay? So, yung joint cost na tinatawag natin are those costs na incurred for material, labor, or overhead during a joint process. Pag separate cost kasi, yun yung parang madedetermine mo na separately. So, in our example, kung katayin, kunyari, bumabayad tayo ng kumakatay sa baboy. No? Kapag binayaran mo yun, binabayaran mo siya in full for pagkatay. So, kapag ma-produce mo yung laman, yung lempo, yung laman, yung pata, isahang bayad na dun sa nagkakatay. So, yun yung tinatawag na joint cost because there is a total cost incurred for the production of the parang lean meat, yung yung head, yung leg. So, yun yung joint cost. Yung separate cost naman is if you already can parang attribute what amount was actually additionally incurred, for example, sa paksiw ng pata. So parang na siya, no, easily assignable na siya to a specific product kung saan siya nagre-relate. Okay? So again, joint cost, kapag yung cost ay hindi mo pa ma-relate sa specific product, pero parang in totality, ini-incur mo yung cost na yon for the joint process and the joint products. Pag separate cost naman, yung cost alam mo na ito attributable to sa product na to or attributable to sa specific type of meat na to. Okay, question so far? None. Okay, sige. So, yung joint products, yun yung products of a joint process. So, hindi pa ako nakakain ng meat ng turkey. Medyo picky ako sa pagkain. Kasi, so kahit, although nakakain ako ng palaka. Nung college kami, kapag after dahil nga ang course ay very stressful, no, accountancy. So, every exam, kumakain kami ng masarap. Kasi syempre, estudyante pa lang kami, wala naman kami masyadong mean. So, masarap na sa amin yung Pizza Hut. Tapos, mas level up pa yung nakakapunta kami ng Binondo kumakain. Meron kaming restaurant na pinupuntahan sa Binondo na Trinay lang, hindi ko nga alam bakit eh. Sinubukan lang namin mag-order ng palaka. Fried na palaka. Alam niyo, for some reason, masarap siya. Wag mo lang siguro isipin na palaka, no? Pero masarap siya. Para siyang chicken, pero mas malasa siya. Although, hindi naman ako pupunta sa Binondo para doon. Pag napupunta lang kami, masarap siya. Fried, yung legs ng palaka lang. No? Hindi naman yung ibang parte ng katawan, yung legs lang ng palaka. Hindi ko na maalala yung restaurant name eh. Pero Chinese restaurant siya. So, meron din mga duck, ganyan. Pero yung mga duck kasi hindi pa masyadong yan. Pero yan, di ako makain ng baka, although kumakain ako ng burger. So, yung mga steak yan, kakain ako, kasi ayoko ng maanggo, so ayoko din ng kambing. Pero, kunyari, mga steak, lalo na kung libre naman, kumakain ako, tumitikim ako kasi nakakahiya naman yan. Lagi kong sinasabi yun, para nakakahiya naman kung ililibre ka na nga, tapos sasabihin mo pa na hindi ako kumakain ng ano. So, kunyari, sa baka, ganun din naman yung process. Pag kinatay mo, madaming parts din and grade ng meat yung makukuha mo sa baka. Huwag na akong tanungin kung ano kasi hindi nga ako mabaka. No? Or kunyari, sa manok, yung ulo ng manok, paa ng manok. Kumakain naman ako ng paa ng manok na barbecue. Kasi nung minsan, dala na rin ng peer pressure, no? Dahil only child niya ako. Napipili ko yung mga gustong kainin. So, nung bata ako, kung ano lang talaga yung gusto ko na ulam. Pag sinabi ko na ayaw ko ng ulam. So, mag-uulam ako ng gatas. Sobrang weird. Gatas. Hindi ako nagkakape, so gatas. Mag-uulam ako ng gatas tsaka kanin. Kasi papanindigan ko talaga na ayoko talaga. So, yung mga tito-tita ko, actually yung tita ko, minsan may mga pagkain na ayaw niya na kinakain ko. Siguro dahil nagiging protective lang. Kasi syempre pinapaalagaan lang sa'yo. Tapos baka magkasakit yan, masisika pa. Diba, hindi ako kumakain ng fishball. Natuto ako kumain ng kikiam kasi nilalahok sa pansit. Hindi ako kumakain ng fishball. Hindi rin ako kumakain ng yung ibang mga barbecue, yung mga dugo, ulo ng manok. Hindi. Pero natutunan ko kumain ng paa kasi may isang beses na parang kasama ko yung kapitbahay ko tapos magba-barbecue. Tapos parang yun na lang yung natira. Parang nahiya naman ako sabihin na ayoko. So, yun. Natutunan ko siya kainin pero masarap naman pala. So, nang malaman ng nanay ko na kumain ako ng paa ng manok, sprak siya eh. Bakit daw ako kumain ng paa ng manok? Isip ko, wala, nakain ko na. Okay, so yung manok ganun din siya, no? May iba't ibang, actually kahit nga yung feathers, 'di ba, ng manok, product din siya. So yung joint products are the products na nakukuha mo from a joint process. Kung isang katayan ng manok, ano yung nakukuha mo from isang katay ng manok? Yung ulo, yung wings, yung legs, yung thigh, breast part, yung lamang loob ng manok, isaw, atay, balun-balunan, paa. Alam nyo ba yung Hindi ko kasi alam ko anong tawag sa inyong generation. Pero sa generation ko, poppers yung tawag. Alam nyo yung poppers. Alam nyo yun, yung proben ng manok. Alam nyo ba yun? Okay. Nung time ko, high school ako, ang tawag ay poppers. Di ko alam kung bakit. Nakatusok din siya sa stick. Para siyang, yung itsura niya parang maliliit na nuggets. Pero hindi siya nuggets kasi hindi siya laman eh. Yung tawag is proben. So, alam nyo ba kung bakit proben? Kasi yung part na yun ng chicken ay yung proventiculus of the chicken. So, i-google nyo na lang yung proventiculus. So, kaya siya proben kasi proventiculus siya. Okay. Masarap siya. Noong time ko mga piso lang isa eh. Pero hindi ko alam kung magkano na ngayon. Medyo mahal na yata. Pero masarap pa rin siya. Okay. Yun. So, yun yung joint products. No? Ano naman yung byproducts or scrap? No? So, incidental outputs lang siya of a joint process. So, pwede siyang saleable, but yung saleable value, sales value niya ay masyadong maliit for the management to undertake daw a joint process. Ano ibig sabihin? Actually, both the joint products and the byproducts will be produced from a joint process. No? Ang difference lang is that yung joint products are parang sila yung main products of a joint process. No? Sila yung key outputs. Yung byproducts or scrap, parang wala na tayong choice eh. Talagang magkakaroon yan by virtue of the joint process. Kunyari nga yung sa manok, no? Siguro naman hindi naman nagkakatay ng manok ang isang magkakatay ng manok para lang sa atay ng manok, no? Para sige magkatay tayo ng para sa atay o kaya para sa para may isaw tayo tonight, no? Hindi ganon, no? So ang goal ng mga poultry people at yung mga nagtitinda sa palengke ay syempre makapagtinda ng legs, ng chicken, yung laman, yung may meat ng manok. Yun yung tinatawag na joint products. But, hindi naman natin maiiwasan na pag nagkatay ka ng manok ay hindi ka makakuha ng atay. No? Hindi ba pwedeng, sige, balik natin yung atay, baka mabuhay pa yan on its own. So, walang ganon. No? So, yung byproducts or scrap, yun yung mga atay. No? Yung mga incidental outputs such that hindi ka naman magde-decide kumatay ng manok para sa atay, pero dahil wala kang choice dahil talagang magkakaroon ng atay kapag nagkatay ka ng manok. Okay, kunyari sa baboy. Hindi ka naman magkakatay ng baboy para lang makapagdinuguan, no? Byproduct na lang siya kasi nagkakatay sila ng baboy essentially for the laman, for yung meat ng baboy. So yung joint products doon ay yung mga pata, yung mga liempo, laman, pero hindi yung dinuguan, yung dugo, no? Pero wala kang choice kasi once na pumatay ka ng baboy, may dugo yan. So, iniipon na lang nila yung dugo. Actually, yung iba, iniipon, yung iba tinatapon na lang. Kasi nga, byproduct lang siya or scrap. No? Incidental output lang siya. Pwede ba siyang mabenta? Yes, pwede. Pero hindi magde-decide ang isang tao na magkatay ng baboy para lang sa dugo. Okay? Na-understand nyo yung difference ng joint product tsaka byproduct? Okay. Sige. Ano naman daw yung tinatawag natin na split off point? No, yung split off point ay yung point where yung joint sa joint process, okay, ang split off point ay ang point during the joint process kung saan na-identify mo na yung individual products. Okay, for example, magkatay ako ng baboy, no. Ang first based sa aking memory from long time ago, no. Lalagyan mo muna ng mainit na tubig, no? Nilalagyan ng mainit na tubig, tapos tinatanggal yung parang balahibo ng baboy. Ganon din naman yung manok. Okay? And then, hihiwain mo na siya. No? Hiwain mo siya dito sa neck, and then dito sa, Actually, meron akong law school na barkada na hindi siya din kumakain ng pork. Kasi naawa ata siya, nai-imagine na parang pinapatay mo yung baboy. Totoo din naman. Actually, yung mga vegan, yung mga hindi kumakain ng meat or anumang byproduct ng animals. Yun yung kasi parang kinakain mo kasi yung parang living thing, which is totoo naman. Although hindi pa ako bumaba sa ganung level ng kabaitan and pag-sympathize sa mga animals, no? So, dito muna sa neck, papunta dito sa So, yung saan yung split off point pag kinatay mo yung baboy. Kapag china-chop mo na siya to identify, ito yung pata. Pero, sa joint process, kapag parang nilagyan mo pa lang siya ng mainit na tubig, tapos tinatanggalan mo pa lang ng balahibo. Nagsa-start na yung joint process mo, pero hindi pa yung split off point. Kasi na-identify mo na ba doon kung nasan yung liempo? Hindi pa, kasi nasa loob pa yun pag hinati pa yun mismo. Okay, so yun, yung split of point ay yung point sa joint process mo kung saan na-identify mo na asan na yung individual products dito. Okay, questions? Wala. Okay. So kapag same with our previous discussions, no, ang eventual goal naman natin ay mag-allocate ng cost, no. Wala tayong ginawa kundi mag-allocate lang at mag-determine ng cost buong SEM. Okay, so ngayon, ang kailangan natin is i-allocate yung joint cost, no. And merong mga methods on how to allocate. Physical measure or monetary measure. Two main modes lang. Physical meaning by physical, by number of units, by number of kilograms, by number of ounces, by number of pounds. Yun yung physical measure. From the name itself, physical measure. Yung pangalawa naman ay monetary measure, meaning nagme-measure ka based on the monetary value. Magkano ba yung sales value niyan, magkano yung net realizable value, magkano yung approximated net realizable value. Okay? Sige. Illustrative problem tayo. Sandali lang ha, inom lang akong tubig. Okay. So, our sample problem, okay, si Revel Company daw is processing chicken. So, ang pinoproduce ay chicken wings, buong chicken, yung dressed chicken, and chicken fillet. I think familiar naman tayong lahat sa mga manok at sa itsura ng manok. Sa itsura ng chicken wings, chicken fillet, tsaka yung whole chicken, yung dressed chicken. Yung tinanggalan ng balahibo. Okay, yung joint cost daw of processing the products is 540,000. Meaning, kapag nagkatay siya ng manok para makakuha siya ng chicken wings, buong chicken, at saka chicken fillet, ang buong cost niya ay 540,000. So, yun yung kailangan natin i-allocate na cost, no? And binigay sa atin yung data, no? How much yung ilang kilo yung na-produce na wings doon sa joint process mo. So, 380 kilograms na wings, 240 kilograms na whole chicken, tapos 280 kilograms na chicken fillet. Okay? Binigay din sa atin yung sales price per kilograms at split off point. Ang split off point ay yung point ng joint process or yung pagkatay ng chicken na nalaman na natin na, ito yung wings, ito yung fillet, ito yung whole chicken. Okay? So, okay. So, alam na natin kung magkano yung sales price per kilogram at split off point. So, for wings, 280 pesos per kilo daw yung wings. Hindi ko alam kung ganyan talaga ang presyo ngayon dahil hindi ako namamalengke. Or kung mamalengke man ako, hindi ko na masyadong naaalala kung magkano. Okay, yung whole chicken daw, 180 per kilo. Yung fillet, 120 per kilo. Okay? Pwede kang mag-incur ng additional costs for marketing para dun sa mga manok. Kasi malay mo, mina-market pa yan, ina-advertise. So, ang marketing cost per kilogram daw ay 20 for wings, 10 for whole, and 5 for fillets. Okay? Meron din namang option to further process. Kunyari, yung wings, lalagyan mo ng flavor. Di ba may mga ganun na, parang may marinated wings na flavored siya. Barbecue, spicy, ganyan. So if merong separate cost pa to process further from the split of point possible yon. So binigyan din tayo ng ganun na data. 10, 10, and 6. And dahil pre-process further mo, mag-iiba na ang sales price niyan. Kasi before, kapag at split of point, ito yung sales price mo. Pero kung magpa-process further ka, tataas yung final sales price mo. Kasi bakit ka pa naman mag-process further kung wala ka namang benefit na mapupunta sa'yo for processing further. Okay, question on this table. Because the succeeding slides will be based on this table. Okay. Yes. But po naging 150. Wait. Hindi yan, hindi yan parang plus ganito, tas minus ganito. Individual and independent values yan. Given lahat yan. Okay? Okay. Sige. Next. Okay. So, may questions pa? Okay. Now, pagka mag-allocate tayo using physical measure, ang physical measure natin is per kilogram. Here, because based sa given, yan lang naman ang hindi in monetary value. No? So, ang physical measure natin for this problem ay per kilogram. Okay? So, paano natin ina-allocate yung cost if physical measure? So, number 1 is i-total muna natin lahat ng kilograms na na-produce. Ma'am, kahit iba-iba siyang product, oo. Ito-total nyo lang yung total kilograms produced. Okay? So, 380 plus 240 plus 280 ay 900. Questions dun sa first step? Okay. Next. Dahil binigay na sa atin kung magkano yung total joint cost na 540, ang gagawin nyo lang, yung 540, i-divide nyo by 900 para makuha yung cost per kilogram. Joint cost per kilogram, which is 600. Okay? Questions? Okay. Next. Anong gagawin after makuha yung cost per kilogram? So, yung cost per kilogram, i-multiply nyo lang by the kilogram. Okay? So, etong 380, siguro ibahin ko ng kulay para hindi kayo malit. Tama. Kung ano lang yung relevant. Yan. Natin ito ng yan. Okay. So, dito sa table na to, ang kailangan lang natin is yung kilograms for wings, total kilograms for whole chicken and chicken fillet, and then multiply it by the cost per kilogram na determine natin kanina, which is 600. So, i-multiply lang yung 380 by 600 to get 228,000, 240 by 600, 144, and then 280 by 600 to get 168. Ang total ng allocated cost mo ay 540. Kasi nga, inallocate mo lang siya dun sa tatlo. Dinivide mo lang siya based on the kilograms produced. So, kapag tanungin kayo, how much is the joint cost allocated to wings based on the physical measure or kilograms produced, the total allocated joint cost to wings is 228,000. Total joint cost allocated to whole chickens, 144. And then total joint cost allocated to fillet ay 168. How much is the allocated joint cost per kilogram? 600. Okay, questions on this slide? So, yung physical measure, isa siya sa easiest way on how to allocate the cost. Okay, next. Yung mga succeeding after the physical measure, ito lahat monetary, monetary value ang base ng allocation. So, yung number one on monetary ay sales value at split off. Okay? Pag sinabing sales value, magkano yung value nung product at split off point. Okay? So we are given the number of kilograms produced. Alam na natin yan. Alam din natin yung sales price per kilogram. Ito yan. Okay? So ano yung next step, no? We get the total sales value at split off, which is ito. Yan. Okay? Again, alam na natin yung kilograms produced, alam natin yung sales price per kilogram at split off. So, pag minultiply natin yung dalawang yan, the number of kilos by the sales price per kilograms, makukuha natin yung total sales value at split off. Ito, yan, itong column na to. Okay, question so far dito sa tatlong column na to. May questions? Wala. Okay, again, multiply lang ito ha, kilograms versus sales price per kilograms to get the total sales value at split off. Okay? Now, we need to get a basis for allocating the joint cost. Hindi na nga tayo gagamit ng kilograms ngayon. Monetary value na. So, ang kukuhanin natin is ang titingnan natin is yung total sales value at split off. This one. So, kukuhanin natin yung percentage nung sales value per split off, no? Yung 106,400 na total sales value nung wings mo, i-divide mo siya sa 183,200. Saan galing yung 183,200? Kapag nakuha nyo na yung total sales value ng wings, ng whole chickens, tsaka ng chicken fillet, i-add nyo lang yan. 106,400 plus 43,200 plus 33,600, makukuha nyo yung 183,200. And then we get the percentage, no? How much is the percentage of 106,400 over 183,200? Miss Amol.
Um, 58.08%.
Okay, 58.08%. For purposes of exams, no? Pag naka-percent, 2 decimal places. Pag in decimal nyo yan, 4 decimal places. Kasi diba, mag-move kayo na 2 decimal pag naka-percent. Ay! Walang kuryente na naman. Sige, naka-UPS naman ako. So, I think kaya naman natin ito tapusin. So, 58.08%, no? Yung 43,200, i-divide din by 183,200 para makuha yung 23.58. And then yung 18.34, i-divide lang din. Ay, makukuha din by dividing 33,600 by 183,200. Okay? Yung total niyan is 100%. Okay? Questions on how we got the percentages? Okay. Ngayon, alam na natin yung percent. Parang kinukuha lang natin yung ratio or percentage equivalent ng sales value at split off na amount doon sa total. So, in percent, ito yung representation yan. Okay? The next step, pag alam nyo na yung percent, imumultiply nyo lang yung percent na yan sa sales value at split off. Ay, sorry. I-multiply nyo lang yan sa joint cost pala. Okay? So, yung 58.08%, i-multiply nyo lang by 540,000. So, 540 multiplied by 58.08. Okay? So, 313,632. Okay? Ganon din, 23.58% multiplied by 540, makukuha nyo yung 127,332. And then 18.34 multiplied by 540, makukuha nyo yung 99,036. Okay. And then, yun, 540 rin naman ang total niyan. Okay. So, alam nyo na yung total joint cost allocated to wings, joint cost allocated to whole chickens, and joint cost allocated to chicken fillet. Pag i-divide nyo itong 313,632 by 380 kilograms, makukuha nyo naman yung joint cost na allocated per kilogram. Okay. Ma'am, bakit walang ganyan kanina? Kasi nga, 600 na rin yan per kilogram. lahat naman 600. Pero dito, magdi-differ na kasi first, mag-allocate tayo ng joint cost based on the percentage of the sales value. So, makukuha nyo yung total allocated joint cost. And then, pag dinivide nyo siya by kilogram, makukuha nyo yung joint cost allocated per kilogram. Okay. Question so far. Sorry, kailangan ko magmadali kasi baka biglang bumigay yung UPS dito. Question so far? Okay. If and only if, no, magkaroon kayo ng certain difference. Kasi mamaya, pag nag-round off kayo, biglang maging 100.01 na yan, or ito maging 540,020 na. Again, huwag kayo matakot, no? As long as tama yung process, kung rounding off difference lang yan, hindi ko yan mamalian, okay? Hindi ko yan mamalian. Kung gusto nyo, pwede nyo to i-adjust para maging 100%. Naturally, mag-a-adjust din to. But, whatever, parang wag nyo lang i-adjust na parang 5% yung, buong 5% or 10% yung difference. Pero ay sabi naman pwede i-adjust para maging 100%. Hindi ganun kalaki ha, kasi may sabihin baka may mali na kayong ginawa. So, ang bottom line is, if it's only a small difference in terms of decimal places, rounding off, few pesos, few centavos, don't worry, no. I will consider. Only if, no. Only if. Rounding off difference lang talaga siya. Okay. Questions? Wala nang questions. Okay, next. Net realizable value at split off. Yung net realizable value at split off, yung process niya, same lang din sa sales value at split off. Ano yung difference niya? Ang difference niya is, ang ginagamit natin na basis ay net realizable value. Ano ba yung net realizable value? So yung net realizable value, ganito siya dinedetermine, no? Whatever is your sales price less your marketing cost. Okay. Yung sales value at split off, ang tinitingnan nyo lang sales price, no? Wala kang tinitingnan na other incremental or marketing cost, no? Or selling cost. Pag net realizable value, apart from the selling price, you will also determine or consider your selling cost, no? So, kung marketing cost, ganyan. So, yung 280, so kanina, 280 yung ginamit, no? Yan. Itong 280 lang, itong 180, tsaka 120. Yun na yung ginamit to multiply sa kilograms. Sa net realizable value, yung 280, babawasan mo siya ng marketing cost na 20. Yung 180, babawasan mo siya ng marketing cost niya na 10. Yung 120, babawasan mo siya ng marketing cost niya na 5. Ma'am, saan galing yung 20, 10, tsaka 5? Dito sa first table natin, yung given sa illustrative problem. Ito. Yung 20, 10, at saka 5. So, pag net realize, again, pag sales value at split off, ito lang ang titingnan. Pag net realizable value, itong sales price per kilogram or sales value at split off less the marketing cost or selling cost. So, ganun lang. Pag nakuha nyo na yon, i-multiply nyo lang by kilograms. So, ito yung net realizable value nyo. Multiply lang per kilogram to get the total net realizable value at split off. So, for example, sa wings, 280 less 20 is 260. So, 260 na net realizable value multiplied by 380 kilos, meron tayong total na net realizable value na 98,800 kasi hindi lumalabas agad yung cursor. Okay. Same process lang for whole chicken and for chicken fillet. Okay. Questions on how you will get the total NRV at split off? Wala. Okay. So, again ha, NRV muna tayo. Selling price less the marketing or selling cost. Okay, then pag nakuha na yung total net realizable value, ganun lang din, same yung process. Get the percentage. So 98,800 divided by yung total NRV nyo, which is 171,800. Pag nakuha na yung percentage, i-multiply lang din sa joint cost na 540 para makuha yung allocated joint cost for wings, for whole chickens, and for chicken fillets. Pag nakuha na natin to, pwede nating i-determine yung allocated joint cost per kilogram. Okay, same process lang, no? Same lang. After makuha yung percentage, same process lang siya. Questions? Okay, sorry kailangan ko magmadali eh. Next, approximated NRV at split off. Ano naman, ma'am, yung approximated NRV at split off? No? So yung approximated NRV nyo naman kapag ka nag-process further ka. Okay? So ito yung sales value at split off, ito yung additional i-consider pag NRV, ito naman yung approximated NRV. Okay? So number 1, kailangan natin muna na ma-determine yung final sales price. Kasi nga nag-process further na tayo, di ba? So, ang sales price na tinitingnan na natin is yung 320, 210, tsaka 150. Ngayon, para makarating ka dito sa final sales price mo, nag-incur ka ng mga additional cost, no? Marketing cost, tsaka separate cost to process further. So, para makuha yung approximated net realizable value mo, kailangan i-deduct mo from your final sales price yung marketing cost and yung additional cost to process further. Okay? So, again, final sales price less all cost incurred, including additional cost to process further and yung marketing or selling cost. Okay? So, makukuha natin yung approximated NRV. Question so far? Okay. And then, do the same process, no? Multiply the kilograms by the approximated NRV per kilogram to get the total approximated NRV for wings, for whole chickens, and for chicken fillet. Pag nakuha nyo na to, you'll be able to determine the total approximated NRV. Next process is to get the percentage. Divide lang yung 110,200 by 194,720. And then do the same thing for whole chickens and chicken fillets. Okay. After makuha yung percentage, i-multiply lang siya sa joint cost na 540 to get the total joint cost allocated for wings, for whole chickens, and for chicken fillets. Kung makuha nyo na to, there is now a way to determine yung allocated joint cost per kilogram, which is 305,586 divided by 380. Okay? Same process lang. Questions? What is important, or what is also important is that you know, pag sinabing sales value at split off, ano yung titingnan? Yung selling price or sales value at split off. Pag sinabing net realizable value at split off, yung basis ng allocation ng joint cost, ano ang titingnan natin? Yung net realizable value, which is your selling price at split off less your marketing cost or selling cost. Pag sinabing joint cost will be allocated based on approximated net realizable value, ano yung titingnan natin? Yung final sales price less, okay, so itong final sales price mo less all your cost incurred, including yung marketing and separate cost if processed further. Kaya, pag kinuha natin yung approximated NRV per kilogram, whatever is the sales price, dinededuct pa doon yung marketing cost and the additional cost to process further. Pag nakuha na yung approximated NRV, apply the same process. No? So you have to also know ano yung sales value, ano yung net realizable value, and ano yung approximated net realizable value or NRV at split off. Pag na-understand niyo yan, relatively easier na yung process eh. Wag lang malito kung ano yung sales price, ano ba yung net realizable value, ano yung approximated NRV. Okay. Question so far? Okay. Yung last 2 slides, basahin nyo na lang yan ha. Accounting lang yan, but hindi ko na yan tatanungin sa exams. More on theory purposes lang siya. No? How do you account for byproduct and scrap? How do you, what do you credit? What is adjusted to your work in process, cost of goods sold? But as I mentioned, hindi ko na yan, hindi ako magpapa-entries, no? Mali pala yung statement na hindi ko na yan tatanungin. Hindi na ako magpapa-entry sa exam. No? What is important to me is marunong kayo mag-compute nito. Okay, so I'll send this to you para you can review. Review ha, mag-review kayo next week kayong mag-relax na wala ako next week. No? Basahin nyo to, take that time to use the time to go over this para pagbalik ko, practice problems na lang tayo. Kasi nga yung December 6 exams na yon. So, para pag nagpa-practice tayo mag-solve, mas madali nyo na na-understand. Okay? Questions? Wala. Okay, wala ng question. Sige. Send ko na lang to para, actually send ko na ngayon para hindi ko na makalimutan. Okay. Okay. Sige. Yan, sinend ko na. Tapos, ano na lang, I'll see you on the 29th ng November. Okay? Sige. Thank you. I-cut short ko na ha kasi baka ano na rin yung internet ko. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you po.